Good morning everyone. Today I welcome you all in Fundamentals of Linguistics session. Here I have noted down everything what we have discussed so far in the classes. So here you can see language and linguistics. So the first topic, these are for brief questions, and this is for short notes, and these are for broad questions. So let me discuss everything in detail. Language and linguistics. Language is a medium of communication which has an inevitable use in the society. Whenever something is in use among human beings, there occurs variation. So language is a medium of communication. And linguistics? Linguistics is the study of languages. Phonetics and phonology. Phonetics talks about the speech sound, and phonology talks about the clarification of the sound and its formal presentation. Morphology is the word formation rules in linguistics. Syntax talks about the syntactic structures or sentence structures of the sentences. Semantic studies, the study of it is the study of meaning, and pragmatics is the study of meaning in context. Sociolinguistics talks about the social aspects of linguistics, and psycholinguistics talks about the psychological aspects of languages. So this is all about the brief ideas that I have already discussed, and let's have a look the 16 features of linguistics which I have talked about. Charles Hawkins in 1960s, American linguist, he talked about the 16 features of linguistics. So this is the fundamentals of linguistics, that's why I think that I should focus on it first. So arbitrariness, what is arbitrariness? Arbitrariness says that there is no perfect relationship between the signifier and the signal. Suppose fan, cap, then pen. These three words will be used in other languages in different ways. So you cannot say that the signal which you are using, it is always the same thing referring to. And another arbitrariness is that if you know something, your brain will give you signal, but if you do not know something, your brain will not give you signal. Suppose strawberry, you know it very well, it's a red thing and it's a fruit, and your brain, if you close your eyes, you will be able to identify what is that. But if you think about squash, so what is squash or kiwi, you do not know what is the type of fruit. So arbitrariness is that there is no perfect relationship or continuous breakdown with the signifier and the signal. So there is no direct connection between the signal and its meaning. This is arbitrariness. Broadcast transmission. Broadcast transmission means that actually when the audible sound of language is heard in all directions, and listeners will interpret it as it may come from one specific direction. So somebody is creating sound and you will be able to hear it. Suppose news reporting, one of the examples. Broadcast transmission. So B. C. Correct semanticity. Semanticity means suppose its speech sounds can be linked to specific meaning. Speech sounds can be linked to specific meaning. Meaning in words are always asserted particularly, and the things which are absent can also be narrated in human language. Suppose pass me the phone. Pass me the phone. Pass. It is clearly saying that give it to me. Then he has to swim. Swim. So it is referring to some action. That is called semanticity. Coming to the next one, discreteness. So if you talk about discreteness, discreteness means that each unit of communication can be separated and these are unmistakable. There is no possibility of third idea in between two. Even if wrong words are uttered, the meaning is understood. Suppose he is sitting in the third row. So, wrong pronunciation, sitting I said, but it is not sitting, it is sitting. S-I-T-T-I-N-G, sitting. Suppose you could say I cut it very well. It is actually, you understand, cut it very well. So that is called discreteness. Coming to the next one, duality of patterning. Duality of patterning actually refers to a very important thing. Individual letters are meaningless until they are assembled and make meaningful sounds. Suppose cat, tack, act. So AACAT, TSESET. So this is called when the sounds were assembled together, then they become meaningful and effective for communication. This is called duality of patterning. Now coming to displacement. What is displacement? Displacement is a very important feature of linguistics. Displacement says that it is a particular feature of human language where the ability to talk about things that are not physically present. Something which is not in front of you, you can talk about that. And it has got the ability to gulf or make a bridge between or among present, past, and future. And in this feature of language, it is possible to recall past and describe present and see future. So animal language doesn't have that possibility. Suppose, for example, history. You can describe history from the past, or you can predict future, or you can talk about the present. So this is displacement. Now coming to directional reception. If you talk about the directional reception, this is another feature of linguistics. And directional reception says that when you are providing some sort of language, and at that time this language is reflected to you, and somebody is speaking, speaker, listener, hearer, and interpreter, there is a response. So in this way, directional reception is working well. Which angle you are talking, and then you identify the angle. Now coming to another one, each specialization. Specialization means language is specific and specialized for each part. Suppose speech is produced for communication, not cheaply for some other functions like echolocation, where one tries to find out something with the help of echo. So dialogue is the example of specialization. Coming to the next one is finding productivity. So language is highly productive. This is the main feature of language, and it can be said that when somebody is going through the track, at that time, if anybody asks any question, there could be millions of answers possible. So it is highly productive, and it is the ability to create new messages by combining already existing signs, and it creates the ability to produce new messages. And suppose, what do you think? And for this question, there could be billions of answers. Now coming to the 9-1, guiding vocal auditory channel. So if you talk about the vocal auditory channel, and the audible sound of the language is heard in all directions, and listeners will interpret it as it may come from one specific direction. Sounds could be audible and it has to be understood, and sounds may appear from all corners, and but one sound is specific from one direction. Suppose vocal auditory channel. So from your vocal tract, some sound were created, and you were easily able to understand what is the sound meaning. Coming to the next one, highly rapid fading. So another feature of language is that the sound is made by the speech diminishes quickly after it is released, and sounds and sentences produced by utterances get lost quite quickly. Suppose communication, face-to-face communication. When I make a phone call to you, within a very short time, everything is lost till you do not record it. So that is called highly rapid fading. Then interchangeability. Language is highly interchangeable. The speaker has the ability to receive and send a message and interchange and sharing the ideas which are possible in human languages. So highly interchangeable. Suppose two-ways communication. Next one is traditional transmission. Traditional transmission, if you talk about, traditional transmission says that language is transmitted traditionally, and the learning of language occurs in social groups, and the social needs makes a learning of language possible. For example, learning Arabic language in Saudi Arabia. Coming to the next one is reflexiveness. Language is highly reflexive. Reflexive means referring back. So let me give you the language can be used to refer to itself. For example, they have helped themselves. Now, learnability. Language is highly learnable. It means one person could learn many languages together. A speaker of one language can learn and learn to speak some other languages. Suppose English speaker can learn Spanish, French, Chinese, Japanese, and some other languages together. Now, much prevarication. Prevarication actually is the ability to make false statements. It's the ability to make false statements. It also involves the purposeful manipulation of a given shared communication system to fool others by communicating groups. Suppose language could be artistic and false. Suppose poetic lines. You are like a rose. So it is possible that you can create your own imagination and imaginary sentences, and you can make it very much attractive. It is also called exaggeration. Now, total feedback. When there is a communication, there is a possibility of total feedback. It means you learn the language, you internalize it, and you just share it. In this way, you get the total statement of the thing. So individuals are able to hear and internalize a message they have sent. Feedback appears in the form of reflection. It may be a description over some activities one has done all day. Suppose input, output, receive, response theory. Understanding a message. So hopefully I've understood this. These are the 16 features of linguistics. Diphthong means double vowel sound. Suppose go, oh. So I discussed about it. Inflectional morphology refers to a kind of inflection which is added with the words. Suppose he goes, he is the first, he worked, ed, it is nicely working, ing. So some sort of inflection which is used for the word, root word, it is called inflectional morphology. Intonation is referring to a very important factor, which means that high pitch and low pitch sound. There is a voice modulation. Can you come to complete the assignment? You see, can you come to complete the assignment? There is a voice modulation. There is a high and low intonation in some cases. So this is called intonation. Competence and performance, which I have already discussed. Competence referring to internal skill, and performance referring to external skill. Suppose you have the ability to write, so this is competence, and you have the ability to speak, this is performance. Language and parole, I discussed about it. Language itself, and parole is the presentation of the language, I discussed about it. Acquisition and learning. Acquisition referring to something which is a subconscious process of learning, and learning refers to a kind of formal institutional learning. Then behaviorist learning theory, I talked about it. B.F. Skinner gave this theory, and I discussed about the things in detail. And language is habit formation, and language is learned through habit and error. Second language acquisition theory, SLA, I discussed about it, and these 3 points should be focused: variability and individuality, second language acquisition and first language acquisition, second language acquisition versus foreign language acquisition. I told you the story. Then this is another broad questions which I discussed. Natural route of development, when there is a similarity between the languages, first language and second language. Suppose, let me give you one example. Tumi ki esechile? Did you come? So there is a similarity in the structure. It will be very easy for the learner to learn the language. It means L1 equal to L2 hypothesis. That will help to develop the language naturally. And another thing is that when you learn the language, you go from simple to complex. Suppose tense, sentence, parts of speech, right form verbs, appropriate preposition, transformation of sentences. Gradually you develop your linguistic skills, and you come to a particular stage, and this natural development called natural route of development in learning the second language. Then individual learner differences, that this is another question which could be very important. There are 5 factors according to Rod Ellis. Age means level of maturity, understanding and experience, and relevant schema. It means what type of experience you gathered from the past. Aptitude, a specific skill. Suppose somebody is good at reading, somebody is good at writing, somebody is good at understanding the concept, somebody is good at explaining the concept. So what kind of skill you have in developing the language? cognitive style. How do you understand? How do you get the message? Suppose when a teacher teaches anything in the class, at that time everybody doesn't understand the topic equally, and sometimes it happens that some students understood it better, some students understood it a little less, and somebody didn't understand anything. So this is cognitive style of learning. So that's why in a class, due to the understanding, some students do very well and some students cannot do well. Then the next one is motivation. Motivation plays a very important role in language learning the language. There are two types of motivation: high motivation and low motivation. What kind of environment, what kind of family background, what kind of friends, peers you have in learning the language, that helps a lot for the development of language. When you have low motivation, your language learning becomes very low, and when you have high motivation, you learn it quite quickly. And the personality plays another important role. Personality refers to the ability to have the courage, risk taking ability, then taking the pressure, anxiety, facilitative anxiety and debilitating anxiety. Facilitative anxiety means that suppose you want to do something and you are serious about that, and debilitating anxiety means that you are nervous. So what type of personality you possess, it also helps a lot for the development of language. So hopefully you have understood everything what I have discussed here, and this will be very much effective hopefully. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. I will definitely answer them. That's it from here. Thank you very much.